Sure. My name is Jen O'Callahan, well known by the museum for, for many reasons. But yes, I live at 1012 Bloomfield Street in Hoboken, and today is May the 18th.
I love it. You're so thorough. It's great. Got it. So you don't want to come back to the museum and serve on the board again?
Not right now. I will leave the future up to, you never know, but not at this very moment.
Yeah.
Life is quite full. I still like supporting everything though.
Yes. So tell me, what is life for you right now like?
So there are 7 of us in the house, including my dog. Pat and I both started working from home in the middle of March. He was a bit later than me, a few weeks later, but the kids' last day of school was March 13th. I started working from home I started that following week as well. And Pat, I think, was about a week and a half later. And then we've have all sorts of workstations set up through the house because I have a high schooler, an 8th grader, and 2 4th graders. And, the first few weeks were really challenging. Day 1 of Pat being at home, the kids were in between classes and horsing around and running all over the place. And Pat was on a client call upstairs with the door shut, but these houses, like, you could still hear everything. And I hear him. I was downstairs and the kids were in the back room, and I hear him come like storming down the stairs after he gets off the phone. And he laces into my 8th grader with he cursed at him and everything, but he was so frustrated. And my 8th grader turned around with this horrified look on his face, like, Dad, I'm on a live Zoom call with my class. And Pat was horrified. Sean was horrified. A few weeks later, we happened to have an online teacher conference with the very teacher who heard Pat screaming his head off at Sean in the back, who said it was the worst, best thing ever, because it was just like, everybody's in everybody's lives in all aspects right now. But yeah, it was at that moment it was not a pretty sight. So that was week 1 of all of us being together. Then things started to get into a groove. And tell me when to stop if I'm
No, please keep going.
Things started to get into a groove. I'm not that crazy by nature as a parent, but I was ultra crazy about everybody washing hands and don't get hurt. We're not going to the ER, blah, blah, blah. This whole like, stop jumping off of things. And then I guess it was right in the beginning of April, as I was yelling at the boys to not scream, not jump around, I ended up falling down a couple of steps in the house and breaking a couple of toes. So the silver lining is that we have such an awesome group of neighbors around here. Like, within an hour, my neighbor down the block had found a podiatrist for me to go to in Jersey City. He's a doctor at Riverside, and he had somebody within the practice of Riverside that was able to see me. So I didn't have to go to the ER to get my toes reset. So, like, that was all I cared about, was that I did not want to go to the ER. but yeah, no, it was really, it was quite a few weeks. So, and then things have nicely kind of calmed down and come into a rhythm now. But yeah, a little bit crazy initially.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's a little nuts, but that's that. As you guys know, well, maybe not, my parents are in town. It probably has been the longest stretch we've gone without seeing them, although we just did a socially distant kind of get together last weekend, because enough is enough at this point. It's been 9 weeks or so, and my kids are really close to them, so they were really excited. But my parents,
how did you do the socially distant, with your parents and the kids?
So we had enough room in the backyard to for everyone to spread out. The challenge was getting them through the house. So we opened up all the doors, like literally opened, and we're like, okay, just come in, walk straight through, right to the backyard, don't have to touch anything, and come and plop yourself in the backyard. So they did that. They stayed for about an hour. We caught up, and it was good. I mean, they're in the high risk age group, and they're very concerned about being around, especially around the kids, I think, because kids are just kind of all over the place. But it's good. It's bittersweet. It was great to see them, but I'm like, God, this is time that's, ticking away, that we can't really all be together and stuff. So we're trying to pick socially distant dates in the future that we could just kind of keep getting together more regularly, because they felt initially were very nervous about it, and then they kind of calmed down, like, okay, this is not so bad. We're in the back quarters and nobody's around us. So but yeah, that's how it's been rolling.
Have you had any birthdays or anniversaries in your family yet?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, my birthday was in the middle of April, which was really fun. Actually, Pat, and he's not a tech, my husband, Pat, he's not a tech guy at all. So this whole experience has been crazy for him, because he's gone from all these live client meetings to everything on Zoom and Google Hangouts and Meets, and it's crazy. But anyway, away from that, he figured out that he planned that he would collect a whole bunch of happy birthday videos from my friends. And when I got up that morning, he gave them to me, and it was very sweet, because I am missing my friends big time, as everybody is. And then one of my best friends that lives in town, her and her family did a little drive-by in the afternoon, and they had the pictures up and the happy birthday, and it was like the Stevie Wonder happy birthday song blaring out of the car. So that was really cute. And then we've since paid it forward and done it to 2 other people, because I thought that was such a great idea to, do a drive-by with the music blasting. So that was really fun. My father-in-law lives out on Long Island, and he just celebrated 80 last week.
Wow.
So for some reason, and I don't know if I should say this on film, but the Long Island is not as concerned about COVID, it seems like, as a general statement. At least they're not. They were obsessed with having us come out there and celebrate. And we did go out. We ended up going out the day before his birthday, because was how we can fit into the schedule. And, we did the same thing. We sat in their backyard, and we kind of had a socially distant birthday celebration, and we had cake with them, and then got back in the car and came home. But it was good. It was good. But yeah, it's amazing. My family my parents are very, very concerned about this, and then very cautious. And my in-laws, and maybe it's because they've been through a lot more and they're a bit older, they're just like, you know what? Come and see us. We want you here. It's okay. We'll be fine. So that's been interesting. But yes, so that's been the birthdays and the anniversaries.
What about did you have any like social and get together normal organizations you're a part of, like a garden tour or a book club or a religious organization I'm wondering if your get-togethers with them, how that's changed, or have you created new get-togethers on a regular basis with people?
We do a lot more Zoom. I've been using Zoom more than ever. And but yeah, none of the organizations that I'm involved with have gotten at all. Like church, we've stopped going to church, really. I'm not really into doing church online. So we let that go. Trying to think of what else. The school stuff, we got lucky. I served on the board at Elysian Charter School for years, and we had a public meeting, which was the first week of March, which we were able to get in, which was fantastic, because that actually ended my tenure, and a new person started up. But had that not happened, that may have been different. But yeah, that was our last meeting face to face. It's been really quiet, I have to say. I feel I haven't had many social interactions at all, face to face.
How are the kids dealing with the remote learning with Zoom or whatever they're using for their classes?
The littles, my fourth graders took a little time to get used to it. Now they're up and running, and actually I think it's working out really well for them. My 8th grader is an 8th grader, and he's pretty bummed out because he was Elysian, their school that they're at, it makes a very big deal about graduations, and they take them through, he's been at the same school since kindergarten, so they take them through all the years, and a lot of the kids are all the same, so it's a really special event that they're now trying to completely do online. So that'll be interesting. I'll let you know how that goes.
Yeah.
There is still talk about trying to figure out some socially distant sort of ceremony outside somewhere, but the governor has been kind of back and forth about what he's allowing, and as of right now, it's not allowed. So we're moving forward with a recorded graduation. He's doing fine. I think in 8th grade, you kind of check out a little bit to begin with, as you get ready to move on to the next place. But he's on Zoom calls every day, multiple times a day with different teachers, and they seem to be kind of moving along. And I just had his conference, like I said earlier, a few weeks ago, and he is showing up on a Zoom calls because he's also up in his room all day. So I can't really keep track of what's going on with him. My daughter, who's a sophomore at High Tech, she is also doing a lot of Google Hangout and Zoom. I think it's moving along fine. I feel for them from a social perspective because they are really teenagers more than anyone. I feel like they just need that social interaction. And I'm always crazed about the kids being on the phone too much to begin with. And I feel like now that's the only social outlet that they have. So last week I started letting them sort of go out a little bit with the mask on and take a walk with a friend or do something, because I'm juggling between the mental health and the, keeping the physical health with them. And I think it's really important that they stay connected. So, and not just over Snapchat or Instagram, so that's, as a parent of teenagers, I keep talking to a lot of parents, with kids our age. We're kind of feeling like that's the biggest hurdle right now, is striking the balance of, what's good for their mental health versus let's not reinfect everybody, or infect people or pass this on or whatever, because nobody obviously wants that to happen. So, that's been rough.
You mentioned that you're finally getting into your routine. I'm wondering, what is dinner time like for you guys? Did you usually do all the cooking? Did your husband do some of it? Is everybody eating together now? What's it look like there?
I feel like everybody's obsessed about meals, like every meal now. Like, what are we gonna do for dinner tonight? We are used to kind of just be fly by the seat of our pants a little bit, like, okay, let's get a vegetable and a protein on the plate and call it a day, we're good. Now it's like, now that we seem to have easier access to groceries and stuff, and we're doing various online services, or sometimes I'll even go in with the mask on and go shopping. It's totally, Pat and I take turns depending on who's got the busier day. And we put like a full out meal together because it's what everybody looks forward to. And, it's nice because no one's involved in sports anymore or after school extracurricular activities. So we're all together all the time. And, we always end our meal by 6:57 to get ready to go do the outside clap. That's our nightly tradition. Actually, Pat has a little alarm on his phone that goes off, and the dog barks and collects everybody, and then everybody goes outside and stands on the steps for. I felt like it used to be like 5 or 10 minutes. Now it's like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. But regardless, it's still, still happening. And yeah, we're into this routine of watching Jeopardy every night, and Wheel of Fortune if it comes on. The little kids really like it. It's been nice. The together time, like I said, I keep trying to find silver linings, and I think this is definitely one of them, because my 2 older kids are going to be out of the house before I know it, and we get to spend some time together. And sometimes we're all ready to kill each other, and that's normal, I think. But for the most part, it's been nice, and thank God we've been healthy, away from falls and things. But even Pat, who before this was traveling probably 80% of his work week every week, is not traveling anymore. So, and won't be for a long time. So for us, like that piece of it's really cool too.
Is there anything that that you feel like you've learned about yourself or about your family that's kind of surprised you so far during this time?
Um, my one 9-year-old has a very short temper, which, which, you know, now that I'm with him 24/7, I see what his teacher talks about sometimes. You know, routine is good. I the one thing I'm appreciating more than ever, and I never thought about it like this, is just we take we take for granted so many things, and even like dumb things like, you know, oh, you know, my parents are coming over, okay, like things that we just never thought about, and all of a sudden everything gets taken away and you find gratitude in the little things, you know, where we never had that. I don't want to sound like, you know, we're all spoiled, but in a way we lived a spoiled life, and now that when you take things away, you realize what you had. So yeah, that there's nothing particular I've noticed about any one kid except for the little temper, but just an overall feeling like sometimes things in the world like this help you reset. I remember having it after 9/11, like that feeling of like, God, you know, enjoy what's in front of you at the very moment it's in front of you. And I think the fact that everyone in the house is starting to feel the same way makes me feel good. And I don't know that I answered your question, but it's
You totally answered my question. No, that was perfect. I'm wondering when you walk around the neighborhood and go for a walk with your husband, with your kids, does Hoboken feel or look different to you? And also, do you imagine how this might change Hoboken, or do you think it will?
you know, we talk about this a lot, and the kids get involved with it too. You know, a lot of their friends um, live in small apartments, and they're cooped up, and we've got the benefit of thankfully having a backyard. You know, um, it, you know, one of my kids was asking, like, do people move out after this? Is this a time where, you know, they say, you know what, I'm giving up the city life for the suburbs because at least I could run around in my backyard during this time. And you know, we walk around and you see a lot less people around, obviously, and it keeps on bringing up the same conversation with the kids, like, oh, are my friends going to move away? And I feel like, you know, Hoboken is so cyclical, and maybe some people will move out after this. But I all thought everybody was going to move out after September 11th, and I feel like the opposite happened. So it's kind of funny, and I keep saying that to the kids. You know, we've been here for, obviously, I've been here forever, but things are cyclical, and some people may find that it's better for them to leave. I kind of like the quieter scene around here right now, and I know that probably is, you know, and I want to see every small business in Hoboken survive and do great, but being a little quieter is not a bad thing for me, and less car traffic, and being able to kind of walk around the park and not, you know, and just enjoy what's around you because the park's been pretty empty. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how things end up when all this is said and done. There are still
Yeah.
benefits to being in the city, you know. I mean, clearly that people don't want to leave, but we'll see.
Speaking of cities, how do you think Hoboken's done as far as communicating with the residents about what's been going on, and how do you think they've been handling things?
I think they've been fabulous. I have no complaints. I mean, eh, I love the messages. I love that Robbie. I felt like Robbie was ahead of the game in this scenario. I read, you know, his nightly update and share it with the kids, and we all feel the same way. Where I think he's really knocked it out of the park, and really his whole team, the council people, the administration, they're all seem to be picking their areas and jumping in and getting involved. I think it's fantastic. Yeah, I think they've been doing a great job. I love that the food pantry is up and running, and I mean, I just called for a neighbor last week, and they had food delivered to her the following day. I mean, it's amazing. So really, I think they're really doing a great job. I have nothing negative to say. Nothing negative. Wait, does that mean I have something? No. Too negative? No, I don't know. Anyway, all positive in my opinion.
Is there anything else that you remember that stands out in your mind that's super memorable versus that one crazy Zoom call? Obviously, really one of them, but that's like amazing. That is like for the memory books. I love that.
So
I know. Is there anything else that's stood out from you as far as a memory that, like, you know what, this is kind of a cool memory. I like this. I don't know. It could be from whatever, you know, something you've witnessed that somebody else has said or done, or something you've seen in Hoboken, or just, you know, whatever. I don't know.
You know, in general, the kindness of others and how people seem to rise to the occasion. My neighbor Alicia Weinstein had called me a few weeks ago and said, "Hey, would you like to help me out with doing the flags on the block for the first responders?" It's Ray Guzman made the flags, and a portion of the proceeds were going to the first. I guess it was the flag, FLAG, and then and you get to support a local artist. I said, "Oh, that's a great idea." And so she and I got together and sent a message out to anyone on the block that we had a cell phone number for. We sent a text message, and our block is almost completely full. And I did not, you know, it's a little thing, but like when I come outside and I see even people I'd never met before, all of a sudden, like the word kind of spread that, like, you know, we keep having to order more and more flags because people just want to be a part of things and just want to get involved and do the right thing. And it's a little thing, but I keep taking pictures to remind myself of this. Like,
can you describe
like that? It was like it's just a plain white flag with a blue heart on it, and they are on about, I don't know, I think we've ordered about 35 or 40 of them so far on our block, and almost every house has one hanging now. And you know, I mean, it's like an $18 flag. It's not a big deal, but it's significant in that, to me, it shows togetherness and you know, that we're all in it together, frankly, and support. And you know, and we still get a big glom of people that come out every night for the clap. So the clap in combination with the flags, just, you know, that'll be my memory I take away from all this, I think.
And just for clarity, the flag is actually it's tied to your gate, right? It's not
yes,
an actual.
Yeah. So we just used zip ties and tied them up to, you know, either the railing or the front gate, or you know, some people put them between their windows. But it's it looks cool, and I think every couple of days a few more flags pop up because we keep ordering more and more. But it's good. We can't keep up with 12th to Bloomfield, but at least 10th is doing something this time.
Is there anything else that you want to say that you want people who are looking back at this time to know from your perspective?
You know, I think just what I stated earlier is just being grateful for what you have, and the all these little silver linings that keep showing up, the time with family, and really, you know, appreciating what's around you. You know, I mean, we've been fortunate, like I said, so far that we're both still employed and everybody's healthy. And I feel like we take things for granted so much, and it's a time to just stop taking things for granted. And even from, you know, even I just heard that there were deer running down Garden Street the other day. I mean, like, in a million years, I would have never expected that. But these are the things that, like, okay, now deer are comfortable coming over Hoboken. It's quieted down a little bit, and we can get some nature back in here. So seals, deers, I mean, you know, there was this, we even took the kids over to see the seal last week on one of our walks. I'm like, wow, this is nuts. But
would you describe that situation, that going over and seeing the seal? Can you walk us through that so we can have
sure.
a report?
So let me think of how my brother sent me a message that came from Tiffany Fisher that said that there was a seal hanging out on the side of the T building. And we're picking a place every week. We order Court Street for dinner once a week because we've been going there forever. And we also pick another place that we, decide to frequent. So this week was Hudson Table, this particular day rather. And I said, okay, well, when we go to Hudson Table, we'll go down to 15th Street. We'll go check out this little seal and we'll cut over and go to Hudson Table and pick up our meal kit for dinner. So the kids did not believe me that there was a seal. And I said, no, I think, I don't think your uncle is lying and I don't think Tiffany is lying, but so they got over there and it was just the two littles we took with us. And we walked over there and they're like, oh my gosh, it is a seal. It's a baby seal. I mean, they named it. I can't remember what they named it now, but they're like, do you think it'll come back? I'm like, I might come back. And apparently it did come back the next day and then it hasn't been seen since. At least that's what I was told. But yes, so that was our whole routine this afternoon and then we went over to Hudson Table. We got this really great Hawaiian dinner that night, which I had never had before. But yeah, it was a memory for sure. It will be a memory for sure. But yeah, the seal. Then there was a picture of a hawk somewhere. We went to go try to find that. We couldn't find it, but I assume birds move rather quickly. So, but yeah, no, it's been good so far.